Hello everyone. Today we are going to study about operators and expressions in this particular module. So, in our previous videos, we have actually gone through some of the terminologies regarding to which will be used in this particular module as well. So, we are going to see about briefly about what are the terminologies that we are going to use. The first one is called variable. The variable is a name that refers to a value. Then whenever you define a particular variable, it is assigned a value. So if I actually make you see what is the variable, so we can write a small code here. Suppose I am writing a code. Minimize this. So if you can see this window, then you can see a is equal to 1. So a is equal to 1. In this the value called a is the variable, and is equal to is an operator, and 1 is a value. So what I am doing is I am assigning 1 to a variable called a, right, on the shell prompt. And when I again write a, that means I'm asking the interpreter or the program to let me know what is the value of a, right? So in this case it will print the value called 1. You can see this in a blue color. So it is actually having the value 1. Okay, now if I do the same thing again with a plus b, now a plus b is not an variable now anymore. It has a and b, right? So a and b are variables, and plus is the operator. Now operator means a symbol which actually operates a particular set of values on a certain set of values, and it give you it do some computation and give you a result back. So there are multiple operators. We are going to see lots of operators in this particular module. But as of now, understand that these two parts, A and B, are called as operands, and plus, minus, divide, whatever operations that you do on the operands is called an operator. So let's go back to the content. So assignment is a statement that assigns a value to a variable. Keywords are a reserved word that is used to parse a program and cannot use a keyword like if, def, and while as a variable. So if I want to use a variable set, suppose I want to assign a value called 1 to a variable. So if is equal to 1. Suppose I want to do this, right? Then it will not allow me to do this because if is already a keyword. I cannot create, even if I want to define I is equal to 1, it will allow me, right? But if I cannot do that, the reason being that this if is actually a keyword, and I cannot use that keyword for a regular type of assignments. Then we are having an operand, and we have told you what are operands. Operands are one of the values on which the operator operates. That if a plus b was an expression, then we have a and b as an operands and plus as an operator. So when we have a mix of operands and operators, we call it as an expression. Okay, and the expression has to be evaluated and finally computed, and finally we get a value. So let's begin with what are type of operators. So the type of operators are called arithmetic operators. There are comparison or relation operators. Then we have assignment operators. Then we have logical operators, bitwise operators, membership operators, and identity operators. So going for the first, this is arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are those operators which actually perform the arithmetic part of the expression, which takes care of some arithmetic operations such as plus, adding two numbers or subtracting two numbers, multiplying two numbers, or dividing two numbers, and finding the remainder or raising the number to a certain power. So the first four operators, the plus, minus, divide, multiply, and divide, are a known set of operators in which actually you mm, you create, if you have two values x plus y and you already defined x and y, then if you want to do x plus y, it will give you the sum of the two values. If you want to subtract, you can get the difference of the two values, and if you multiply this, you will get the product of these values, and if you divide, it will give you the quotient of the value, right? But this division is different from this division. Okay, let's have a look how it actually happens here. So if I again do this, if I go back to this shell, if I write x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 2, or if I do x is equal to 5, better understanding, I make the x 5 and y 2. Now if I do x divide by y, okay, ideally it should get 2 like 2.5, right? This is the value. Okay, but normal language, if you have, if somebody of you have gone through C or C++, then in that case there's an assumption, that is a rule that says if you divide an integer by an integer, you will get an integer. Okay, in this case not the same, you will get a floating point value if you divide a normal integer by integer. Whatever the value, it will give you the value itself. But suppose you are not interested in writing what you can say 2.5. I am only interested in the floor value, that is the lowest value of 2.5. The 2.5 lies between 2 and 3. So what is the floor of this range? 2 is the floor of this range. So what I will do, I will write x double slash y. So when I do this, I will get 2. Okay, so that's why, that is what this particular statement division operator stands for. That if you see this, you will understand that double slash generally is a division floor, divides the first operand by second operation. The same thing, this is written here, and this is written, the same thing is written here also. But the thing is, you will get the floor value. When you are interested in just the floor value, you do not want to go through the floating point value. You will use a double division by floor. The second last is modulus, that it returns the remainder of a division. So if I again tell you about the division operators, so okay. Now if I give you this example, so if I have modulus operators, suppose I have a value called the same thing here. So if x modulus y will give you the remainder 1. Why? Because 5 divided by 2 has a quotient 2 and a remainder 1. So that's why it gives you a value called 1. Okay. The last is the power operators, that means it returns the first raised to the power of second. So the first operand here, if you can see, let me increase the size. It says the first raised to the power of second. So if I again create say x star star y, what is the value of x? X is 5 and y is 2. So this expression x star star y stands for 5 raised to the power of 2. So when y raised 5 to the power, it will give me 25. Okay. So this was all about the arithmetic operators. Now, along with the operators, you should also know the precedence of arithmetic operators. Right? The precedence of arithmetic operators generally means that in what order will you actually execute the operators in arithmetic case. That means you have studied about this precedence in your school as well as in your schools. I mean to say that you have studied BODMAS. BODMAS was a rule which actually tells you the same thing. In this, the parenthesis always has a higher precedence, then followed by the exponential, exponentiation, then by the multiplication and division, then addition and subtraction. So to give you one particular example of this, because based on this precedence rules, the things will change. So if I write an expression, say 2 plus 3 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 6 and then divided by 3, suppose this is the expression. So the expression will be abbreviated from left to right. So no, right to left. So it will be like, it will resolve this expression, this thing first, because this is a division, and division as per the precedent, division holds the higher precedence in the three set of operators plus multiply and division. So it will reduce this 6 by 3 to 2. Once I get this 2, what I will get here is I will get 2 plus 3 multiplied by 2. So out of these plus and multiply has the highest precedence. So I will use 2 into 3, that is 6, right? And after that 3 plus 2 plus 6 is 8. So I will get a value called 8 here, right? But the thing is, if I put 2 plus 3 in the brackets and I did a multiply 6 divided by 3. So okay, in this case, even the operator star, or you can asterisk or multiplication, has a higher precedence than divide. We will performing this operation of adding these two numbers before, because your expression says that this operator, that is the parenthesis, has the highest precedence among the operator. Okay, so that's why the precedence says that you will add this, because this is in the parenthesis. So I will add this first, 5 and multiplied by 2. Okay, so I will get 10. Understand? Okay, so with the help of this, you understand that precedence is matters in evaluating the expressions, right? It matters a lot when we are evaluating one expression. Now the second type of operators are called relational operators. So relational operators generally are those operators in any language, not in Python, that eventually turns out to be either true or false. And relational means it checks the relation between the two values, whether these values are greater than or less than or equal to or not equal to or greater than equal to or less than equal to. These are the 6 basic type of relations that actually is being computed with the help of the relational operators. The thing is, whenever I use x more than y, it turns out to be either true or false. So if I check this here, right? If I check with the same set of values, suppose these are the values that we have a value called x as 5 and y as 2. So if I say x more than y, it will turn out to be true. It will not give me a value. It will either give me true or either give me false. Okay, so all these values will be turning to either true or false based on the conditions, based on the values. Then comes the assignment operators. The assignment operators are used to assign a value from the right hand side to the left hand side of the complete expression. So they are almost 8 type of assignments. In this, what we do is we will either use the simple assignment operator for is equal to, or we can combine two operators like plus n is equal to, minus is equal to, multiply is equal to, divide is equal to, floor divided is equal to, something like this. So if we see one of the examples here, so what is the value of x? X was given as is given as if you see this particular script partially. So if I write x plus is equal to 5, suppose, okay, the value of x was already 5 here, right? So this expression actually means here as x is equal to x plus 5. This expression actually turns out to be adding the value of x with incrementing the value of x by 5 and assigning it back to x. So if I write this, it will give me a value called it will evaluate something, and I will, if I put x, it will print me 10. Okay, it will print me 10 because x was 5 initially, so I added 5 to a 5 and I will get a particular value called this. So if I do again x minus is equal to 2, then it is equivalent to x is equal to x minus 2. Okay, so in this case I should get the value called 8. Okay, so this is what it actually means. Once you want to optimize your system, you will be using these type of particular assignments. So in this case, suppose the value what I am going to particularly focus here is this double is equal to actually is the floor division. So when we divide 10 by 3, we should get a 3 because this 10 divided by 3 it gives you 3.3333. So that value lies between 3 and 4. So the floor will give you 3. So this is fine. Now when you do x equal to 10 and y is equal to 3, x equal to minus 10 and y is equal to 3. Suppose I do it here. I do it here now, x is equal to minus 10 and y is equal to 3, and when I do x divide y or floor division by floor y, I will get minus 4. So how I get minus 4? The question here is because when I divide minus 10 floor when I divide minus 10 floor 3, what actually I will get minus 3.33. Okay, and this lies between minus 4 and minus 3. Okay, now tell me which is the lowest, minus 4 or minus 3. Ideally minus 4 is the lowest, so this is gives you the floor value of minus 4. Okay, then come the logical operators. The logical operators generally are used to execute between two values, two set of expressions, not just the values. Like relational operators were selecting between two values, two operand values. Now this is an expression itself. It says that if this expression and that expression becomes true together or separately, the expression will evaluate to yes or no. There are three operators: and, or, and not. We will see all these with some examples here. Okay, let me clear up this particular. Start the shell again and see some logical operators here. So the operators that we are going to see, if we put x is equal to 2 and so x comma y is equal to 2 comma minus 10, suppose. So I am assigning x to 2 and y to minus 10. So if I do write x is more than 1 and the operator is and, y is more than 0. Okay, so the value of my y is not more than 0, it's less than 0. Okay, but x is more than 1. So this condition is true, but this condition is false. So overall, this particular AND operation, if you have read the AND gates, the AND gate is always the AND. When you AND two values or two expressions, when both the values are true, then only you will get a true. Otherwise, in any other cases, the expression will result into false. So eventually, this will turn out to be false. If I write it like this, x is more than 0 and y is less than 0. In this case I will get a true because y is less than 0 and x is more than 0. Okay, so these for and these two conditions, that is on the other side of and operators, they should be true simultaneously. But if I do this particular thing as x more than 1, or y more than 0, okay, the same condition which I written here, this is the same condition that I written here, I copied it. It's the same thing here, but with an or operator. The or operator says if either any one of them is true, the system will return true. So either if x more than 1 is true, or y more than 0 is true. Y more than 0 is false in this case, but x more than 1 is true, so the expression will return me true. So if I say not x, right, then it will print false, because x was true, x was more than 0, it was true, so it print not x, that is false, right? These are the basic operations. So if we will be leaving these bitwise operators as of now, but understand that when we actually represent a and b in form of binary numbers, you want to add two numbers, then you use an ampersand sign, in which I will add 0 with 1. So if you should be knowing the and of two numbers, it says that when you have a and b, when the value of a is 0 and b is 0, the and value of the a and b is 0. It will be 1 only if you have 1 and 1 both the sides. Okay, so we will be leaving this as of now. Now coming to the membership operators. So membership operator generally is actually used when I want to check if a particular value lies in another set of data, uh, or it is not in that particular set of data. It's not a member, or it is a member of that particular set of values. So with this example we will check it is having the list 1. We have studied list in our previous examples. So we will seeing list in our coming examples also somewhere. But as of now, understand if I have an operator called list1 and I want to check if this element 1 is a part of list 2 also. So what I will do, I can check if 1 in list 2, right? So what it will do, it will pick up that element 1 and go into list 2 and check all the elements of the list 2 and verify whether list 1 the element of list 1 belongs to list 2 or not. Okay, and it will return a true if it is there, it will return false if it is not there. Then comes the identity operator. Identity operators are the operators that compare the memory location of two objects. So if you do both the objects points to the same memory location, then that case it will return true. If they are pointing to a different memory location, then it returns a false. Okay. So in this example, x is equal to 200 and y is equal to 500, right? And x is more than x is equal to y. So x, whatever y is pointing to a value called 500 in the memory, right, some address which holds the value 500, and z is again pointing to same place where y is pointing. So both the z and y are pointing to the same location. So if I write z is y, this should turn out to be true, right, because it is actually true here, right? And if x is not y, so we can say x is pointing to a value 200, which is a different location. Z is pointing, or x is pointing to a value called 500, which is a different location. So in this case, x is not y should also return to be true. Okay, you can try this in your idle shells and you can understand how it actually works. The last one is called ternary operators in Python. So a ternary operator generally has a syntax like you have an if expression here. So if this expression turns out to be true, then the value on the left will be executed because it is a true value. If this expression turns out to be false, then it will be this value which is on the right should be actually executed. Okay, I hope, sorry, because the previous sessions lectures was on a smaller screen. So you see this example, Sibor? A comma B is equal to 10 comma 20. That means 10 is assigned to A and 20 is assigned to B. So when I compare the function, if A is less than B, so that means I am checking whether the value of A is less than B. If it is true, then I should print A, and if it is false, then I should print B. So what I written A here besides this if condition, right, on the left side, and with an else part I have written B. So if this condition turns out to be A is less than B, then minimum value is assigned a value called A. Otherwise, the minimum value is assigned as B. So this is a particular set of values that we actually go through when we try to find out when you solve something related to operators. There are a set of questions that you can program at your end, and if you have questions, you can come back to us anytime. Thank you very much.